What's going on, guys? Today we'll be reacting to Tom Dark's Freaks Hate Wendigoon. Subscribe below.
So I was kind of waiting to talk about this situation because I thought that things would die down and I wouldn't really need to say anything about it. And ultimately, that is what happened. It died down. It's not really a big deal. And it almost never was in the first place. But I feel like it's kind of important just for me to get a statement out there anyway because, I mean, it's somewhat of an interesting topic. And, well, someone who I consider a friend has been getting some recently on Twitter from freaks. And I kind of think that I should be defending this person a little bit considering that I care.
Oh, I fucking thought he was calling freaks like people freaks, and I was like, what is this guy really fucking saying, that they're freaky people attacking this guy? That's the title that fucking got me right there.
About how they're seen in the public eye, you know, I do. So as some of you guys probably know, Wendigoon is a YouTuber who does, I guess, like a mix of like true crime with folklore, with like religious stuff. It's kind of hard to like pigeonhole him into one thing. He blew up off the iceberg trend a few years ago. Since then, he's been making a lot of different videos about different subjects. One of my favorite recent videos he did was about the Unabomber. It was a great video. He just does these long, in-depth videos where he sits down in front of his camera and he talks for hours and hours about whatever is interesting him that week. It can be a book, it can be a movie, it can be a video game, it can be Dante's Inferno. I mean, really, the sky's the limit for what he's capable of doing, and I personally like his videos a lot. I'm a big fan of him, and I'm also his friend, which is why this is important for me to talk about right now. So Wendigoon, he's from the South. He's religious. I believe he's a Sunday school teacher, actually, and he'll often talk about that in his videos because, I mean, that's who he is. It's part of his personality. It's part of his life. He's going to talk about it in videos, right? And he's also...
Yeah, but who fucking cares, man? Hopefully we're a minute in. Like, who cares as long as they enjoy the content? It's kind of like the same point I try and make about how if I clickbait people with an interesting title and then my content is interesting, then who fucking cares about the clickbait? It's the same thing. If they like his content, who fucking cares if he's religious or not? Maybe that's what this guy's about to get into.
Also, I mean, he's from the South. He's, I don't know about a redneck or a hick, but he's got a little bit of that in him. So he likes guns and trucks and stuff like that, like those guys do. You know, the good old boys. And I guess some people on Twitter realized this all at once and decided that he was not only a Christian YouTuber, but he was also a Christian YouTuber and a racist, a fascist. He's far right in some way. And the reasons they had for this are completely ridiculous. One of the reasons they had was that he follows Kyle Rittenhouse on Twitter. I mean, first of all, sorry to break it to you, Kyle Rittenhouse was legally acquitted on all charges. He legally acted in self-defense. He's not a killer. He's not a murderer. He didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry. That's what the law says. It's not my fault. That's what it says. And even beyond that, I mean, Wendigoon following that guy on Twitter is not an endorsement of that dude's entire character. And let's say hypothetically, which this is not true, by the way, I'm just making this up, but let's say hypothetically he is friends with Kyle Rittenhouse somehow. If he's not talking about that in his content, then I see no reason that that should be an issue for literally anyone. Like, if he's going to make videos about Kyle Rittenhouse and how awesome he is and how much he loves him, then obviously you can disagree with that.
Alright guys, let's check out who this Kyle Rittenhouse is. Alright guys, according to this article, if I looked up the right person, it's just somebody who shot some people in Wisconsin. I don't get it.
Then obviously you can disagree with that and you can have a problem with it. But at this point, I mean, it's basically just speculating on who Wendigoon may or may not be behind the scenes without any real solid proof of anything as a reason to like cancel him or get people to stop watching his videos. Now, another thing people brought up is the fact that he's a gun owner, which is like, I don't know, I think that's pretty badass. I don't see a problem with that, but some people, I guess, have an issue with that. Another problem that people have with him is that he's Christian and he's a Sunday school teacher, which I guess Twitter freaks think is a bad thing. So
alright, my take on the whole gun owner thing. Think about it carefully. As long as somebody's not after your own life. Unfortunately, the people who attack you to try and get money from you, or a thing from you, need that thing. They're in a more desperate situation than you are. And also, unfortunately, they've been brought up in a situation sometimes where it's better to actually do that type of thing, which seems unbelievable, And I don't want to get all into that now. That's a whole different topic. But unfortunately, it's even better in some situations for some people to not, as long as they don't take your life, right? So think about that. Then all of a sudden, if you shoot somebody to death because they're in a super desperate situation without even understanding their situation, just because they tried to take some money from you, well, it's just annoying that they tried to take money from you. And yes, I don't agree that those people should exist, but I also don't agree that you should shoot them to death, because you don't know their fucking situation, right? And but if somebody's entering your fucking house, well, you kind of have to defend yourself. That's scary. You don't know what they're there to do. So you might have to, that's where my opinion might change. You might have to defend yourself. But, like, shooting somebody is crazy in my opinion. Why don't you just mace them? If you're really afraid of that and that's why you carry it like a gun, I feel like you can mace them or taser them or even stab them or wound them, or just run away. Like, if they have no physical advantage over you at all, you could just straight up run away. And if you run away, none of your shit will ever be taken.
Somehow they think it's a bad thing to like be religious and devote your life to something greater than yourself. Can't imagine the kind of people that have a problem with that. I mean, we all know, we know. And another issue they had with him is that he's friends with me, and I guess that I became like a contentious talking point in this entire conversation.
It's weird. Turkey Tom is like a guy who does, like, I can't tell if he's good or bad. I can't tell if he's like secretly sort of like super right-wing conservative or not. I can't tell, but some of his work is interesting, some of it's not.
So basically,
same thing. Who cares? As long as Turkey Tom does the proper research on the topic he's talking about, then accurate is accurate. It doesn't matter if they're this or that. What the fuck? I'm starting to get really annoyed by left and right and bullshit, dog.
because I'm his buddy, I went down to Tennessee to go to his wedding a few months ago. It was a great wedding. It was a lot of fun. They had it at this cool, like, sort of 80s, like, dive bar motel with a pool. It was a lot of fun. Everybody dressed up. I had like a goofy outfit on. So did everyone else. I had a great time. But I guess because I was there and because I'm obviously extremely racist according to Twitter, I was like the connection between him and the alt-right somehow. So I guess I just like should make a statement here and get this out there, because I've kind of avoided talking about this in the past because it's like it doesn't really benefit me, I feel like, to address it. But I guess I'm gonna do something dumb here because I feel bad that my friend is getting online. I think that racist jokes are funny. Sorry, I do. I think racist jokes are funny. I think edgy jokes are funny. I think racism can be funny. I mean, that's just who I am at the end of the day. I'm sorry, I do. I don't think like institutionalized racism is a good thing. I don't think putting someone down for their race is a cool thing. I don't think, not giving someone a job opportunity because they're black or something is a good thing. That's obviously, all of that is not cool. I think like Black Lives Matter is fine. It's a fine movement. I really don't care. I really have no qualms. And to be honest, I'm not a
Man, first of all, my hot take is Black Lives Matter, the meaning behind it is good, but the organization, I'm not too sure about, man. I've seen some kind of weird things about it. And then, my other fucking thing I want to say, I don't know if I agree. I don't know if racist jokes are good. And that's crazy for me to say, because I'm somebody who, like, thinks words don't matter at all. Like, words don't fucking matter worth a shit, dude. Like, making a word into a curse word is funny to me. That word is a curse word. It's like, okay, it's a curse word, then sure. And I think it's no big deal. No word should be like bad to say. That's bullshit. And And but I still think it's different if you're bringing something like that was really sketch and just making it into a funny situation, because that's just like if you break your leg and your friend starts laughing at you.
Not cool. I think like Black Lives Matter is fine. It's a fine movement. I really don't care. I really have no qualms. And to be honest, I'm not a political person in general. In high school, I definitely was more political, but like currently, I literally have no investment in politics. I didn't vote in the last election, which was the first one I would have been able to vote for. I didn't vote. I don't really care to vote. At the end of the day, my entire life goal is like make good content, have fun doing it, meet cool people. But some of my favorite comedians like Louis C.K. or Shane Gillis, they will joke about very dark topics, about very sensitive subjects, and it's kind of all about walking that line between like, is this is this more fucked up than it is funny? And definitely, you know, sometimes they cross that line and they miscalculate. But in my opinion, as long as they're not trying to actually do any real harm to the world, as long as they're not trying to, you know, put people down, I really don't give a shit. I don't. And I'm sorry, that's just how I am. Obviously, that's, you know, cost me a few friendships in the past and stuff like that. Obviously, some people don't like that. That's totally their prerogative. You know, if it makes you mad that I think the N-word is funny, then I understand, and that's totally your position. But this is just how I am. This is who I am. This is how I've always been. Maybe in 10 years I'll change.
Here's my take on that, and I wanted to make a video on this. This reminds me of a video about a video I was gonna make. Holy shit, thank God I watched this. Dude, if you like people, let's say you like people, but you also like saying things that some people don't like to say. For example, it doesn't have to be the N-word. It can be fucking just something weird. Something weird. If you're saying some weird shit because you quote unquote want to be yourself, I can prove how that's not actually yourself. Guess how that's not yourself? Well, you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'm saying what I'm thinking, and this means I'm being myself. No, if you like people and you want to say something fucking weird, keep it to yourself, because as long as only if it'll gross people out. Don't keep it to yourself, it'll make others laugh. But if it's gonna fucking annoy people or gross them out, and you like people, then actually your true self shouldn't say that fucking weird shit, man. Because, or the thing that's gonna gross people out or bother people, make people mad. And the reason you shouldn't do that is because you like people. So you have to decide which one of your personality matters more. The one that fucking you like people with, or the one that you're like, well, this is the true me, I'm thinking this, so I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna be myself, this is the true me. Which one is more of you? The one where you like people, or the one where you think about weird shit? And I bet it's the one where you like people. Nobody likes being lonely.
But at this point, I'm 21 years old. I'm a fully grown adult. I've been this way since I was like, you know, I don't know, since I started developing a sense of humor. That's just how I am. I'm sorry. Now, obviously, I wouldn't even blame any YouTuber or like someone like Wendigoon for not wanting to like associate with me or be my friend because of that stance, considering I say that openly. I know a lot of people will get shit for saying stuff like that or even being friends with someone. And in this case, Wendigoon did get a ton of shit for being my friend. I feel bad for him. I mean, people are speculating on him and his wife and whether they're both racist. That's horrible. That's awful. And it's just these Twitter freaks that they just get a rise out of starting an issue over nothing. In reality, all the Wendigoon is he's a YouTuber, he's a Christian. And I mean, he said as much in a tweet he made, actually. He said, some rude and slanderous things have been said about my character, and I just want to clarify that I'm not right-wing or bigoted or anything besides thankful for my opportunity to make goofy YouTube videos. The only thing I believe in is loving God and my wife. Now, if it pisses you off a lot that he's a Christian, I mean, I guess you don't have to watch his videos. Maybe you have some deep, dark trauma from Christianity. Maybe you read Reddit too much. I don't know what your issue is, but I think to have a problem with someone because of their religion is silly. It's silly. And that's...
I just wanna pull up the Maybach and bend your leg back. Please obey that. Don't delay that, my love. Why lie?
Ironically, that is bigoted. In the same way that these people complain about stuff like Islamophobia, is Christianophobia a word? Christianophobia, yo, shout out. Christian Christianophobia. Anti-Christian sentiment. Christianophobia? I feel like if I say Christianophobia, it sounds like Christianophobia.
Wait, there's people, anti-Christians. Anti-Christian sentiment. Anti-Christian sentiment, also referred to as Christian phobia. It could, the fear constitutes fear of hatred, discrimination, and prejudice. What? Anti-Christian sentiment, also referred to as Christian phobia or Christian phobia, constitutes the fear of hatred, of discrimination, and or prejudice against Christians. I guess that's fucking weird. I didn't know that exists.
Yeah, Christianophobia. Guys, the Christianophobia has to stop. Just pull it with the anti-Christian remarks. Another thing that people had issue with, I guess, is that he's friends with Shoe on Head, which, I mean, to my knowledge, Shoe on Head is like a leftist or something. She's left-wing. I mean, I guess back in the day, she made anti-SJW videos, but if that makes you alt-right, then there's a lot of people you guys need to start calling out, too, for being alt-right. Overall, this is kind of ridiculous. I feel bad for Wendigoon for getting in. I mean, obviously, you know, he's fine. He's a YouTuber who actually watches videos, don't actually care. And he has enough people that like his stuff that it doesn't really matter. But it is kind of sad to see these Twitter freaks going after him. And ultimately, I think it says more about themselves and it says about him that they're mad about the fact that he's like a Christian Sunday school teacher and that's triggering them. But, you know, it is what it is. The world works in mysterious ways sometimes. If my personal testimony means anything, I wish Wendigoon would say the N-word way more and he never says it. So, listen, he doesn't say it. He doesn't say it. We try to get it out of him. We try to squeeze it out of him. He won't say it. I'm just kidding, by the way. That's meta irony. That's just a joke.
Yo, guys, so leave a comment below about if you think I was right on that. Hell yeah, words don't mean shit, but probably you shouldn't make racist jokes. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments.
Joke. He does not say it though. He doesn't say it. But yeah, I think Wendigoon's a good dude. I think he's funny. I think he makes good videos. I'm excited for the projects he's working on in the future. I'm thankful to have him as my friend. He's helped me a lot with stuff as far as like, you know, just content, you know, stuff. I think he's a nice dude. I think the people who don't like him are being silly. And I hope he continues to be successful.
Click subscribe below. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to watch the rest of it, it's called Freaks Hate Wendigoon by Tom Dark on YouTube.